Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Richard Simons. I hope you're all really well. It's the run up to Christmas now. And one thing all Tesla owners have become accustomed to recently is that there tends to be a software update just before Christmas with a few goodies in it. And I've now got some of the information on what the latest Christmas software update includes. So in this video, I'm going to run through what those are. There's a couple of things I wanted to see in there that are missing though, so I'll also go through those at the end of the video. Okay, so I've got a little list here and we're going on a recent tweet by Elon Musk. And so in no particular order, I'm going to run through some of these new features and functions. And like I say, there's a couple of things I wanted to see here, which I think the cars should receive in an update, which aren't on the list. So I'll also come on to them, but in no particular order. Firstly, Apple Music integration. So you can now stream your Apple Music from the car screen. There's always been that kind of clash. We've never had Apple CarPlay in Teslas, but Apple Music will now be integrated, and that will also go to volume 11. So second is the enhancement of what they can do with the interior camera, and one of those features is to enhance dog mode. Now for me, dog mode is a really useful function that really is unique to Teslas. So we've got a dog at home, and when we go away, on holiday for a few days and you're going to go somewhere, maybe for a meal in a restaurant where you can't take your pet, it is very handy to be able to leave them in the car. And dog mode basically leaves the heating or the air conditioning running so the dog is comfortably in the right temperature inside the car, not baking hot, not freezing cold. And it also leaves a message on the screen just to let anybody who sees your pet in the car know that the interior temperature is just so. So it's a fantastic and very, very useful feature if you have a pet. But this enhancement of the interior camera, and I don't know if you've seen, if you've got a recent in the UK Model Y or 3, above the rearview mirror is a little camera up there. But one of the things you can now do is, with dog mode, is also view the interior camera and keep an eye on your pet inside the car. So that's quite an interesting little update, and again, very unique to Tesla. I've not seen this kind of function on any other car. So see up here, this little camera just above the rearview mirror? Well, that's now active. And what do you think about having that camera on you all the time? And I can only assume this would also save footage in the event of any kind of accident. But there's a camera in your car always watching you. What do you think about that? That interior camera can also be used for the Sentry mode. Again, Sentry mode has been fantastic. You've been able to do this for a while now. Again, view the external cameras of the car from your phone anywhere in the world. So if there is maybe an alarm triggered, you could go onto your app and you can look at the cameras around the car, and you can also now look at that camera from inside the car and check everything is okay. So that interior camera is coming into use. Watch out. Scheduled light show. So this is so I'm sure most people have seen now Model S, X, 3 and Y, you've been able to do a light show with the car. You can set the car off to do music and dancing. It flashes the lights and flaps the falcon wing doors and such like. You can now schedule that, which means basically you can get a number of Teslas to do their dance show combined all at once in tune at the same time. Before, I remember we tried to synchronize dance shows. You try and lock the cars at the same time and get them in sync. We actually can just now schedule it so they can all do their dance show in sync. And I've actually seen people program their own dance shows as well, which is very impressive. If you've done one of them yourself, let me know in the comments below, and if you've got a video of that, post a link. If you've got a Model Y Performance, you've now got track mode coming to you as well. So the Model Y is a bit more of a family car, but like the Model 3 Performance, track mode has now been turned on and enabled with this software update. So if you want to take the kids to school on a Monday morning and then go tear around a track, then you've got track mode available. And track mode is a really amazing function, which I've used on the Model 3 Performance before, and anyone not familiar with it, basically, it enables you to really tune. You can put all the power to the back wheels, 80% to the back wheels, 20% to the front. You can adjust the amount of traction control and stability assistance in there. And it also automatically records lap time. So it's a really amazing function, which has so far been unique to the Model 3 Performance. You can now get it on the Model Y Performance. So they're quite a big practical family SUV with full track mode. So if anybody in the UK has a Model Y Performance and they want me to take it on a track for them and show them how it works and wear those tyres down a little bit, I'll happily oblige. So let me know in the comments below and get in contact if that's you. Here's a little one, which is the climate controls. So the fan speed can be adjusted, but the climate control can still stay in the auto mode. And it's one of those things that bugs me here. So a lot of people come off of auto mode and just turn up the fan to try and get the cabin hot as quick as possible. I'm an auto person. Leave it auto, it will get there as quick as it can. But what I have seen in a couple of other cars like Hyundai and Kia is that you've got a couple of stages for the auto program. So you can be more aggressive with the fans or a bit calmer with the fans, but still regulate and automatically control temperature. But that's now coming to the Teslas as well. So climate control with a couple of fan speed adjustments for auto. So here's another one for that interior camera, zoom functionality. You can now do Zoom video calls whilst driving along, can you? Gens, can you do it while you're driving?
I don't think so.
That would be crazy, wouldn't it? Trying to do a conference call while you're driving. Anyway, you can now use that interior camera and do a Zoom video call, should you wish. It does require cars which have the A&D processor, so in the UK that's the rising cars. I think basically cars produced after about January 2022, so it'll be all the Model Ys and then the later Model 3s as well. Remember, we don't get the new S and the X here in the UK, so this video will be commenting largely on those cars there. So if you want to do Zoom, you will need your premium connectivity, but you can now sit in your car and do a Zoom video call, if that's useful to you. So there's a couple of updates here which we won't get to try because we still don't get the new Model S or X here in the UK. There's been a few plaids, I think, trickling into Europe now and Germany they've been seen, but we haven't had an US and X here as yet, but there are now some extra functionality for gaming if you have one of those. So when we eventually get them in the UK, you've now got Steam, so there's more games and there's also more control options as well, so you can play gaming on the back seats of your Model S and X. But we don't get to try that yet, so one day down the line. When will they come to the UK? Open-ended question that, isn't it? If you've got your theory, let me know in the comments below. We have seen a few go to Europe now, but again, here we're right-hand drive. When will right-hand drive production begin and shipments to the UK? An unknown question. I think maybe sometime in 2023. Next on my list is emissions testing via the Tesla app. What does that mean? There's no emissions. Well, what I can only assume this means is that remotely you can make your car make a fart noise. So if that's cool for you, then that's something that I think you can now do. Tesla tend to call the emissions the fart mode silly thing. So you can do that remotely from the app and surprise people as they walk past the car. That'd be quite a funny little video, wouldn't it? Always rainbows. So this is the Rainbow Road mode. It kind of comes up with some Rainbow Road graphics in the car. You can now have that always on if you want it, not just in the Christmas mode. So again, if that's something that pleases you, now available all the time. Contact search. So this must be improvements in the search for your contacts. I'm not sure exactly what's included within this. We'll wait and see. Do you know any more about that, Gens? Because you can search for your contacts and call them now, of course, and all that kind of thing. But is it just improvements in how you search for that and can find it? Well, we're not quite so sure what contact search is then. So if you know, let me know in the comments below. Cards are back. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. It says that cards are back. And what that means is it was removed in software version 11 update. So basically you used to be able to see your, for example, average efficiency with little cards at the bottom of the right-hand, well, now cards at the bottom right-hand side of the screen. So under the speedo, under the graphics or autopilot, you could then have a little card showing which would show, for example, your trip efficiency, and you could scroll since reset. And they removed that with software version 11. You've got some other graphs and graphics, but you kind of had to go to controls and then trip, and it would take over the screen, so you couldn't have the navigation on as well. And I'm a bit of a geek. I like to see my efficiency, and especially as we record a lot of videos of efficiency runs, you'd have to keep bringing up on the main screen what your trip efficiency was. But the cards are back, and you can now have that at the bottom there, so that's a really good kind of backward step that's improved it, and it was a shame they took it away in the first place. But they are back, so I know I'm pleased with that, and I'm sure a few of you will be as well. Auto turn signals. So I was sitting here thinking that as you come up to a junction, it will automatically indicate if you're going to go left, because it would know that because your navigation is on to go left. But my colleague Gens here is assuring me that what this is doing is actually turning the turn signal off. So you can push the indicator lightly at the moment, it'll do 3 flashes and you might change lanes in the motorway. But if you kind of click the indicator on, change lanes, it will then automatically turn it off, in theory. But maybe if you've clicked it right up to keep it flashing, then you want to keep it flashing. So it'd be interesting to see this one in practice and see how that pans out. And then we've got NYQ connected garage door opening, so you can have some more functionality to open your garage door. There has been that on Teslas in the past where you can have garage door opening, but it was standard on, I think, the S and the X, and then here at least wasn't on the 3 and the Y, but you could get Tesla to enable it on the cars. But it looks like there's some more integration for that. I don't have the luxury of electric garage doors or gates or anything, so I don't care. So you can monitor and control your garage door remotely using your vehicle touchscreen. But I presume that means as you're coming home, you can just open it while you're still 200 yards down the road or something.
Or if you're sitting in the car and charging and there's Amazon delivery.
Okay. So you could be sitting in the car charging, you get a notification of Amazon delivery, and you can go on your car and open your garage door to put the parcel in or something like that.
Yeah, you probably could do the same from the phone, but if your phone is in your pocket, it's easier to go on the screen.
Can you do it whilst you're driving down the motorway at 70 miles per hour?
Probably not, but then you can just like...
You could take the video Zoom call from the UPS delivery driver, and then you can, okay. Yeah, whilst you're playing games and the indicators are still flashing, but they're not, they've turned themselves off, but you wanted them to, anyway, there we go. And then there's some improved navigation updates as well, so again, that's a general improvement there. We've seen some good improvements in navigation this year, because you can now do route planning, you can have multiple stops, and on Tesla navigation, you couldn't have that actually until fairly recently, and it is very good, and I do find the Tesla navigation now very good like that, so that's all good. But there's a couple of things missing that I would have liked to have seen with Tesla, which I think are really important. And for me, I'll come to the most important one, I think, second. But one is the cars produced now and being delivered now, and certainly here in the UK, no longer have parking sensors on them. They rely on Tesla Vision. But basically, there are no parking sensors at the moment. So if you're picking up a new car now, have a look around your bumpers. You probably haven't got the little white circles in there with the sensors anymore. And that's because it's using Tesla Vision, but they're not active, they're not doing anything. So if you're parking your car at the moment, be very careful because it has no parking sensors. So yeah, we haven't seen any cars come into us yet with bumper scuffs, but I'm sure it will happen. I would have liked to see that would be a fairly important thing to prioritise and get functional on the car. So with this update, ready for the new year, as people are collecting new cars now, I would have liked to see the parking sensor, albeit via Tesla Vision, activated. But the biggest concern for me that I think really needs some attention from Tesla, and I'm sure there's going to be something great on the horizon, but we've been waiting a long time now, is the latest cars, the Model 3s and the Ys that we've been receiving here for the last year, have got matrix headlights. However, none of the matrix functionality works. They're just a fixed beam pattern, and not very good at that as well. Every time I drive down the road and I see a car with slightly bright headlights in my eye, or a car come down the outside lane, and I'm dazzled through the mirror of the headlights, it's always a Tesla Model 3 or Y. And they've just got this very sort of static beam pattern, which isn't very good, and I think not very safe. And I would love to see that Tesla would be really onto activating these matrix headlights. They can have some great functionality, again, combined with Tesla Vision, so you can have the shadowing of the car in front, highlighting the sides around the car in front, and then actually working high beam, dip beam patterns. The car's got the hardware, so the software side of it should be relatively simple to do. And one of my criticisms of the Model Y, it's such a fantastic car, and the 3, is that the headlights are just really behind spec. Now, you know, the Porsches, the BMW i4s, the Polestars, the Audis, their headlights are so much better now. I know in the States, matrix headlights haven't been allowed, so I think basically Tesla have been a bit lazy with it. But here in Europe, really good headlights are out there now. They're amazingly good, so much better. And we're going to do another video on that, actually. We've got a Taycan with some really good full matrix headlights. And they're just phenomenal. It's such a safety improvement. And Tesla are all about safety, so I think active matrix headlights would be a massive gain for Tesla's safety rating. So that's one of the things I was really hoping to see for the new year, and that's not in it. But alas, we'll have to wait. I'm sure there is something on the horizon, but come on Tesla, speed up. In Europe, you're so far behind with headlight technology, and to the point where it's basically dangerous. The current ones are just blinding and not very good. So, and that remains really one of the only criticisms I have of the Model 3 and the Model Y, because otherwise they are sorted cars. They're fantastic, and especially now the ride comfort's been softened off on the latest cars. Again, I'm looking forward to do some reviews and testing of that in the new year, but then you've got pretty much perfect cars there. So a couple of those little bits, but good to see a few other fun things in the meantime. So that's it for the Christmas holiday update for Christmas 2022. As we go into 2023, be interesting to see some of those in practice. So if you've got this update come through to your car, let me know your thoughts and opinion on those, and if you've had a chance to play with them, I'll be interested to read those comments below. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Oh, and a Merry Christmas.